En el mundo de hoy, los productos buscan un lugar en el corazón de sus consumidores. Para alcanzar este objetivo, la clave y la diferencia la hace la comunicación, que logra envolver a las audiencias en un sistema de emociones que integra a las marcas dentro de nuestro entorno de una manera orgánica, dinámica y funcional, convirtiéndolos así en ingredientes de la emoción. Hemosistemas mediáticos que simulan ecosistemas naturales que representan a la vida misma y que conectan con la gente. Bienvenidos. 9º Seminario de Mercadotecnia. Hemosistemas. Sistemas de medios. Universos de emoción.
Generamos contenidos que emocionan y estamos a la vanguardia de las tendencias. Hemos sabido crear los mensajes más poderosos dentro de los sistemas de medios y juntos hoy construiremos un universo de emoción.
El marketing y la publicidad le dan vida y emoción a los productos.
Nuestras historias despiertan sensaciones poderosas y alimentan las pasiones que mueven a la gente.
Juntos, productos e historias que viven en nuestras mentes y en nuestros corazones.
Porque el entretenimiento es la llave maestra para abrir millones de hogares.
Los actores damos vida a personas comunes.
Como tú y como yo.
Nosotros sacamos al público de su rutina.
Los divertimos y sobre todo provocamos su curiosidad.
Cuando representamos los sueños que ellos quisieran ver realizados en sus propias vidas.
Juntos debatimos la noticia, ofrecemos diversas perspectivas sobre los sucesos que día a día acontecen en México y en el mundo, y así esperamos que la audiencia tenga mayores herramientas para entender la realidad.
Y aunque parezca increíble, muchas veces no solo soñamos, sino que aprendemos a vivir una mejor realidad.
Cada vez que logramos la identificación del público con nuestros contenidos, logramos también la identificación con tus marcas y productos.
Somos productores y distribuidores de contenidos, pero también desarrollamos proyectos para que tu marca fluya de manera muy natural dentro de cada uno de ellos.
Porque así la audiencia está más abierta y receptiva a todo tipo de mensaje.
Día con día, todos los valores que difunden nuestros actores y conductores se hacen extensivos a la marca.
Cuates, cuando tú integras tu marca a nuestros contenidos, catafixias tus valores racionales por valores emocionales.
Nos hemos ganado la confianza y la credibilidad de nuestros fanáticos porque sabemos llegar a la meta en equipo.
Nuestro objetivo, que el televidente nos vea, nos crea y nos quiera.
Porque después de todo, nosotros no somos más que un cachito más de la familia.
Por eso, podemos motivarlos.
Prenderlos, sorprenderlos y cambiar su forma de ver las cosas.
Ahí, donde las arañas tejen su nido, nosotros despertamos todo aquello que quieren sentir.
Amor.
Dolor y esperanza.
Anhelos.
Ilusiones.
¡Alegría!
Magia.
Fantasía.
Risas.
Sí, risas y más fantasía.
Los hacemos jugar y divertirse.
Hacemos latir sus corazones.
Acercándonos íntimamente.
Porque el amor manda entre tu marca y el consumidor.
Así es como generamos una liga emocional que favorece a nuestros clientes.
Lo dicho, en equipo lo comunicamos mejor.
Por eso la marca integrada a nuestros contenidos resulta altamente memorable e impactante.
Aquí siempre hay un espacio donde marca y contenidos pueden convivir.
Y la convivencia retroalimenta.
Y te posiciona en lugares
insospechados.
La neta, ahí está la gran oportunidad.
Empatar el consumo de la gente con los sueños proyectados
En la pantalla.
¡Con esto tu producto se giganta!
¡Se convierte en un gran héroe!
El éxito de tu producto no es cuestión de suerte.
Es cuestión de ponerlo donde debe estar.
Y en manos de quienes sabemos posicionarnos.
Hablamos igual que nuestros televidentes. Es por eso que nos entienden.
Nosotros nos ponemos en tus zapatos. No, en tus tacones, para que tu marca se integre armónicamente a nuestros contenidos.
Para que como la melodía más entrañable, tus productos permanezcan en la mente y en el corazón de todos.
La necesidad de buscar entretenimiento e información siempre es una constante.
Por eso nuestros programas siempre están a la vanguardia.
Siempre pensando en nuestra audiencia, creamos los proyectos más innovadores.
No importa el tiempo ni la distancia, tenemos la plataforma digital para que nuestros internautas se conecten con tu marca.
Aprovechemos las nuevas estrategias de mercado y contenidos específicos que llegan al corazón de los diferentes grupos.
Es tiempo de que las marcas piensen como creadores de contenido y los creadores de contenido como marcas.
Ese es el círculo virtuoso de la mercadotecnia de hoy.
Cerrar este círculo siempre provoca que los resultados sean muy favorables.
Somos un equipo de personas comprometido pensando
y trabajando creativamente para ti y tu producto.
Porque con nosotros cada mensaje es parte de una historia.
Y cada historia es parte de nuestras vidas.
Al final, todos los días, todos compartimos la misma meta, la conquista y la satisfacción de la gente.
En Televisa nuestra pasión es generar emociones a través de la creatividad y de las buenas historias.
Good morning. Thank you very much for being here for this 9th year in a row. We are here to talk about marketing and how to get in touch emotionally with our consumers. From my viewpoint, there are 3 key ingredients to create this connection. First of all, we have to get to the consumer through distribution, open television, internet, movies, radio, magazines are a way to get in touch with people. In the last few years, we have expanded our infrastructure of distribution. We have opened our cable TV, driving one of the first things in our country. We complement this with a second fiber optics network in Mexico, and then we are also incurring in cell telephony. These recent efforts make us be the main supplier, and the next factor to engage with consumer is emotion. Emotions generated by good stories. All infrastructure would be useless without the content that makes everyone be very excited. This is our specialty. Engage the audience with emotional plots, not only through digital platforms, because they produce the same emotions, but in all sizes and form of screens. The different platforms are tools to get to the consumers in a better way, and this is the new horizon. This is our business and the central topic of this seminar. Multi-platform and transmedia platforms. The multi-platform engage us with the youngest audiences of this country. Transmedia and content has shown to be more encompassing than all other platforms. Now the challenge is to take advantage of all these opportunities. So now we have marketing, advertising, creativity. We have all distribution platforms and the most emotional platforms where we can find the best ways to insert advertising messages. The secret so that this works all about is the collaboration among those who are here producing producers, content distributors, publicizers, agents, and advertisers. I am sure that all of us together will communicate better with a better advertisement for Mexico. Alejandro Quintero, who is the host of this event during 9 years, and throughout these years you have got to know him. Alejandro, you have the floor. Thank you and welcome everyone.
Estrenamos padrino hoy que vino Emilio.
Okay, Emilio is here for the first time to formally open this event. Welcome. Welcome to Emosistemas. This is the media systems through emotion. This is our 9th marketing seminar. Most of us already know because during these 9 years we have experienced all the evolution of the media. Altogether, we have discovered, valued, and explored new horizons. We have assumed the challenges of the digital area, the false alarms with the supposedly death of television that is in its best moment. The content generated by the users would displace professional content. That's what it was said. But we all together are still engaged with people. We still create marketing and we still show our marketers our loyalty. There have been a lot of challenges constant, and we have been able to adapt ourselves, and mainly we have got ahead to the new trends of content in order to be always in effect for marketing and advertisement. 9 years ago, this seminar promoted that brands should consider product integration as innovative factor for their advertisement programs. Then we were talking about how integrations should work, and we also said that product integration would influence in the decision of the consumers and loyalty for the credibility of the brand. Afterwards, we opened the topic of 360 degrees. We looked for efficient strategies to spread advertisement through different platforms. During these many years, we have insisted on engagement or emotional link. The content and the emotions that awake in people. It is clear for us that content creators should think about brands, and brands are concerned for getting their consumers through good stories and creation of contents. We insist that the amount of people we have reached is not the main objective of advertisement, but the emotional link that advertisement generates between brands and consumers. 9 years later, I do believe that we have reached the moment to ask less questions and to enjoy the very fun ways of advertisement content. Nowadays, we have a lot of platforms and media that live together in harmony in emotional systems. These systems complement itself and nurture themselves from the content. In addition to awake between brands and the audience and emotional link that we had never expected before. The studies said that this multi-platform ecosystem together to the traditional experience of Televisa as and creator of contents, as well as all its experience, engages people and influences their lifestyle. We have at our availability a multi-platform universe, ecosystem of media where everything works and everything is related, so that it gives us more than what we had independently. A universe of emotions that involves consumers in a different way, that takes advantage of the story, of its characters, and the media where it is told. It is a virtuous circle where TV enriches the content of other media and vice versa. The audience engages with the TV content, and when this content goes to other media, such as social networks, these experiences become an experience of the TV world. And the emotional connection with the audience is considerably strengthened. In the case of advertisement, the studies state that when the brand is a natural part of a story, the consumers develop emotional links with it. First of all, because they engage and then identify themselves with the characters and the story or the plot, and then because they relate the brand of or product with the content of the story. As we all know, the emotional link with the brand is the greatest purchase motivation. When the audience is within the story, they breathe the air that the characters breathe. They feel the love of the young people who are involved, and they want to get involved in the story. We know that the multi-platform messages aren't new. The use of the media variety have always been an efficient way of spreading a message. In the new dynamics of consumption and content distribution, media are different, but the objectives are just the same: to have a place in the heart of people, generate loyalty and love towards the brand. We have stories that engage, we have the media that reach and encompass, and we have consumers eager to participate in this emotion universe. This interaction we had never expected it before. They go beyond the traditional purchase through different platforms that are only focused on reach. The scientific studies say that there is no best way to do advertisement than through the format of storytelling, which go directly to the memory of a message. When you tell a story this way, you will remember it accurately and longer. I invite you to leave reasoning aside and to go on deeper on the emotion universe and to go to the adventure in these multi-platform universes and travel through the world, conquering territories such as Europe, China, and Brazil, and that through Univision they get the US audience. Do advertisement is to be co-creators of emotional systems. The challenge is to create, to get excited, we all together with the stories, the media, and the platforms that we have at our availability. This is the new horizon of advertisement. Make others get excited and be excited ourselves. Thank you for sharing this adventure of content and advertisement with us. Simon Mainwaring, please welcome him, and thank you very much for joining us.
Simon Mainwaring, a shared future for television and social media, experto en mercadotecnia, blogger influential, consultor de marcas en compañías líderes como Fast Company, Good Magazine, Mashable, Huffington Post y Forbes, en el área de social branding y tecnología, autor del libro We First, How Brands and Consumers Use Social Media to Build a Better World. mismo que se destacó en diferentes publicaciones como el New York Times, Wall Street Journal y el sitio web Amazon, como el libro de mayor venta. Conferencista internacional, con participaciones en Cannes International Advertising Festival, Royal Society of Arts, SXSW, TED-XSF, National Speakers Association, con marcas como Google, Coca-Cola, General Motors, Gucci, Patagonia, así como en la fundación de Bill y Melinda Gates, premiado como escritor creativo para Nike por Wheaton & Kennedy y director creativo para Motorola por Ogilvy. Este año se hizo acreedor al premio Top 5 Marketing Speaker por la empresa virtual Speaking.com. Mainwaring se enfocará en los nuevos ecosistemas que ahora definen el futuro de la publicidad en televisión, la TV Social, el Social Shopping, el Product Placement y el Social Media, así como el impacto que estos 4 ecosistemas producen en las diferentes plataformas. Simon Mainwaring.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, firstly, to all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us. I know the demands on each of you, and it really is appreciated. And thank you to Televisa for putting on this incredible production. This is very, very impressive. It's absolutely superb, so thank you. And also, that introduction, that was the best introduction, the most sort of high-end production I've ever had in my entire career. So I'm thinking, my daughters at home never listen to me when I try and get them to listen to what Dad says. So maybe if I play that beforehand and do it HD on a big screen with surround sound, they might actually listen to what Dad says. But, you know, the nut of, the short version of that introduction is I'm an advertising guy. I've worked in Australia, in London, and throughout the United States for the last dozen years on brands. And all I've studied is the craft of storytelling. How do we make an emotional connection so that you might like our brand and share it with others? That's what it's all about. It's not about technology. It's not about the shiny new platform that's out there. It's about an emotional connection to the brand that motivates people to want to talk about it, to share it with their friends, and to buy a product. That is absolutely timeless. But there's been a big transition going on. I remember I left my last staff job at an advertising agency in 2001. And for 10 years, the last 10 years, I've kind of been like the cleaner from Pulp Fiction. I kind of come in and help companies with their messaging at the last moment, when a pitch hasn't been solved or a campaign needs to be written. And I started to notice a massive transition going on as a function of the work I was doing. So it used to be just advertising agencies and direct to clients, and then it would be digital projects. And then about 2007, I started to notice this thing called Facebook or Twitter or Twatter or Twatter, who knows what it was. And it was a profound moment because I thought to myself, as a long-time advertising guy, as a committed storyteller, if you put media in the hands of your customers, it's going to change everything. And it was at that time that I heard a speech that Bill Gates gave at the World Economic Forum where he said, government and philanthropy can't fix the world on their own. We need the private sector to get involved. And I thought that was a really wonderful challenge. And I spent 3.5 years writing this book, We First. And it talked about the role that social media will play and how it will change our lives. And this was before President Obama or your new president was elected in part by social media. It was before the Arab Spring revolutions. It was before Pepsi Refresh Project, Occupy Wall Street. But in the last few years, we've seen all of this come true. So what I want to share with you today is the insights that I gain as sort of like a scout out in the battlefield. I'm constantly moving in the cracks between industries. Sometimes I work with government. Sometimes I work with the State Department, sometimes I work with brands, sometimes I work with non-profits. And it's really hard. All of you are marketers and brands and advertising people. And it's really hard when you're in that bubble to really see the marketplace and where it's going outside. It's almost impossible because you're consumed by the commitments that you already have, the marketing plans, the business models that you already have. And so sometimes it's a luxury to be on the outside and see the different problems emerging and the same challenges from different vantage points. And social TV and the role of television in this shared future of social media is one of the most unprecedented opportunities that you as marketers will ever have. And I want to share some insights into that. And I'm going to give you a fair bit of information today, and there's going to be some research behind things. And I want to assure you, I'm going to give you an email address at the end where the slides from today will automatically be sent to you, so you have the presentation, and also Televisa will make it available to you as well. So if you'd like to take notes, you can, but also you're going to get the entire presentation. And I want to start with a reality. The social TV, the marriage of television and social media, that ecosystem, that seamless system that will allow you to make an emotional connection with your customers and tell stories in multifaceted ways across multiple platforms is already here. It's not an if. It's not a maybe. Each one of these companies are dimensionalizing one little piece of that puzzle. Televisa has already put together this comprehensive, seamless media system that makes it all possible. So you're really not in the position to sit back and go, is this something I should do? Because what we're talking about is your customer. If you're not interested in the way your customers are relating to each other and how they want to relate to your brand, you might as well have a store, put products in there, close the front gate, and lock it and not let them in. And what's more, they will look elsewhere because if you're not listening to them, they may well just assume you're not interested in them. And so there's a real imperative on all of us to celebrate our customer, to recognize where the marketplace is going, and to embrace innovation on behalf of our brand to inspire customer loyalty, customer goodwill, and ultimately profits. So I want to talk about 4 different parts of this ecosystem. We've got social TV, we've got social shopping, product placement, and then social media. And it is a competitive landscape. So I want to give you a larger view of that entire landscape first, so you get a sense of your place in it. And then I want to talk about some of the new players that are making it even more urgent that you embrace it. The great news is nothing replaces high-quality content. Television is here to stay. The work that Televisa does is a cut above the rest. Why? Because of the quality of the content. That's what consumers relate to. That's what creates the emotional connection. That's timeless, irrespective of social media or the web. That's timeless. The quality of the content is key. And in the US, you know, households, the average household, the average American is now spending 40 hours a week watching television. And over-the-air television viewership, the number of households viewing television through over-the-air has actually increased. And it's increased more than 17.8% for, you know, Spanish-speaking households. And in fact, the cost of advertising has never been higher. And we're seeing a demographic spike due to baby boomers who have sort of income to invest and time on their hands. And so viewership is going up. So television is in a wonderful place if they embrace the new opportunities that are in front of it. But there are challenges. There are new players coming into the marketplace that are recognizing this opportunity and saying, I wonder if I can capture your customer's attention. Netflix, Hulu Plus, Amazon Instant Video. And what they're trying to do is leverage the advantage of having lower overheads compared to the big budgets and costs, say, of high-quality network or even studio, you know, movies and television. And so there's competitors in the marketplace. And also, there's a price sensitivity. You know, it costs a certain amount of money to have a bundled package as opposed to what companies like, you know, Hulu Plus and Netflix are trying to do, which on average can be competitive. They can be like a third of the price. So there's price consideration tension, which is worth considering in a very, very competitive and tough economy. And then finally, there's a lot of negative sentiment towards a lot of the larger sort of content companies in the United States. You've got Time Warner, Comcast, Cox, and Dish Network were listed as 4 of the most hated companies in the United States in 2011. And that's a perception problem. But it's only a problem if you don't see the opportunity, which is if you relate to your customers where they are, if you make a more meaningful connection to them and relate to them in the way they want to relate to each other, then you can improve your reputation with them and your brand can benefit as well. And so this whole ecosystem, this new demand on you as an advertiser, as a brand, presents a new opportunity for you to tap into all these channels and to dimensionalize the story that you're telling through that content to inspire greater loyalty and to do something which has never been possible before. To talk to your customer, to your viewer, in a dialogue and inspire them to talk to other people using their own social media channels to promote your brand. That's what's so exciting. It's not a one-to-one dialogue, it's one-to-one to many. So what you can do right now is embrace the art of storytelling through a seamless multimedia platform that will inspire your audience to amplify it even more. What's more, you'll be listening to them and communicating with them in ways that they want to be talked to, and so you'll inspire greater loyalty, trust, goodwill, and ultimately purchases. Now, I know this is scary. I know that we are also deeply invested in the habits of the past, and a lot of our companies are under pressure to meet analyst projections for the next quarter, and we're so invested in old media plans and profit centers and so beholden to the next 3 months in terms of income that we don't really want to risk innovation. But the speed of change is such now that it's moving so fast that if you don't keep up, eventually that tension point breaks and you get left behind. And new brands and new platforms and new opportunities will come and sort of steal a lot of the market share that you had before. So I want to talk to you firstly about 6 different trends that are shaping social television. And there's new consumer behavior, there's the rise of co-viewing through tablets. I was watching people come in today, and it's so funny the art that we've all developed to check the phone underneath the table so no one can see that we're doing it. Or we all walk in and we sit down, and we don't sit down and turn to the person next to us and say, "Oh, hi, it's so lovely to meet you, how are you?" We go, "Oh, what's happening on my phone and what's happened at the office and what have I missed?" Do this exercise. Next time you go out, 5, 10 years ago, if you saw someone at a restaurant, they would sit down, they'd get up after dinner, and you see the guys or the guys would check their wallet, right? Watch what people do now. They get up after dinner and they go, "Where's my wallet and where's my phone?" That's how committed we are to our I went to London a few weeks ago to speak, and I left my phone charged in the wall at home, and it was the taxi ride where you're too far on the way to the airport that you can't turn back, otherwise you'll miss your flight, but if you go ahead, you don't have your phone, and I didn't have my phone for 8 days. It was hell, and it was fantastic, but it was hell. And I bought one of those temporary phones and so on. But this dependency on our phone, the way we're living our lives through these small little screens, is only going to increase. And this is an opportunity for you. I have kids. Who here has kids? Who here has children? Just raise your hand if you've got kids. Who here sits on the couch with them watching television and they've got a laptop or they've got a tablet or they've got a phone in their hand, and you're talking to them and they're like, "Yeah, no, Dad, it was great. School was good. It was fine." And you're like, "I just want eye contact. What color are your eyes? I've forgotten." That's the challenge now, but it's also the opportunity. We've got online video players. We've got on-demand going mainstream. We've got viewers multitasking. I tell you, there used to be this perception that, people sitting at home watching television would just sit there like couch potatoes, especially in the United States. They're not. They're working really hard. They're doing like 10 different things at once now. It's absolutely amazing. And then the second screen ecosystem. So let's start with new consumer behavior. And this is not projection. This is reality from all the latest reports that are out there in the United States. If you look at those 3 different lines, it's how people are watching network programming without television during the day. So they're watching network programming through tablets or their smartphone during the day. And not surprisingly, even though we're supposed to be at work, a lot of people in the yellow line are watching network television on their computer. Yet, at the end of the day, you see the yellow line go down with the computer and you see the rise of tablets. And meanwhile, smartphones are pretty consistent through the day. But 11% of consumers, that's how they're consuming network television today. The rise of tablets and co-viewing, especially amongst 18 to 24-year-olds. The average 18 to 24-year-old spends 2.4 hours on tablets each day. 2.4 hours. And there's still 24 hours in the day. And there's 40 hours of television being watched. It's absolutely amazing. And so people are watching television and they're watching it on their tablet or they're watching them together. And this is absolutely here. It has already happened. Online video players. You've got companies like YouTube is the #1 dominant sort of force in this space compared to Hulu and Vivo and the others. But people are spending more and more of their time watching online video. So if there's a program, like a network television program or a soap opera or news coverage or sports coverage, that can also be brought to life through video content, and you can continue that story and engage your customers who are spending that much time watching it there anyway, why would you not want to do that as a brand? Then you've got on-demand is going mainstream. What's so interesting here with Netflix and Hulu is the different ways that people are using those two channels to watch content. So you've got Netflix, most of the time they're watching movies, while on Hulu they're watching television. And if you look at the bottom part of that graph, you'll see with Netflix, they're actually watching it on their computer, while with Hulu, they're watching television much more on their computer. So people are using different second screen devices to watch movies as opposed to television, and they're doing it in different ways on their desktop or their PCs and on their tablets. But this is adoption that has already happened. This is not an if, this is not a maybe, this is what's going on today with your viewing audience who can potentially buy your product. And then viewer multitasking. It's amazing what people can do when they've got two screens in their hands. It's like they're like that musician, Jean-Michel Jarre, who plays two pianos at once. And you look at the fluency of kids with their double texting thumb thing is absolutely amazing. I mean, 88% of viewers are multitasking while they're watching TV. 88% of viewers are doing something else. 15% are on their phones the entire time they are watching a show. I do that. I always keep my phone just here. It's always nearby. It's like this invisible tether that you always have a sense of where that phone is. 38% search the mobile web. 94% exchange email. And 38% say browsing the web enhances their TV experience. So you're a storyteller. You're a brand. You're an advertiser. This is what your customer's doing. This is where their eyeballs are. This is how they're dividing their time. This is what they're giving their attention to. And this is the platforms they're using that they could actually amplify your message and share your product and service and what they just bought. So if you look at the entire second screen ecosystem, it's seemingly complicated, but it's also this incredible, unprecedented opportunity. You've got, starting at the top left, you've got the ability to communicate in real time with others in a way you never could before, whether it's through Twitter and you're talking about a cast member in a show or a product he's using. It might be social TV, which allows you to sort of find and share content in a second screen. Or you might be able to look at one of the actors that you love and go, I love that shirt he's wearing, or what's that necklace that lady's wearing, and through a second screen, identify what that is and make that purchase right there in real time, and then share it with all your friends who talk about the product that you purchased from that star in that show in real time. Then you've got context. What is going on around that given show? People may go to IMDb to find out about the actors. They may go to Wikipedia to find out about a topic if it's a cultural show. You've got personalization. One of the most powerful consequences of social media is that we finally got what we want. We as marketers used to do all those focus groups. Do you remember all those focus groups? You'd go into a focus group and they'd say, would you like the pizza? Would you like the pizza with the triple cheese? Would you like the triple pizza with the triple cheese? Would you like the pizza with the cheese and the crust? And then you'd have 20 people who'd eat the pizza, and then you go, that's very interesting. We're going to do a pizza with triple cheese and the crust. I had a lot of quality time in those focus groups. Now we've got upwards of 1 billion people disgorging their personal information tirelessly every day. Where did they go on holiday? What music do they like? What brands do they like? What clothes do they like to wear? Who are their friends? What do their friends like? What are they listening to? It's a real-time focus group going on at a level that's absolutely unprecedented. And I think it's a little hard for some of us as advertisers because we know what the customer wants. We're the ad agency, we're whatever. We know. The customer is telling you what they want. And if you don't listen, it's just like being in a relationship where it's two deaf people shouting at each other. I'm telling you what I need, and you don't change your behavior, and eventually that person gets upset and frustrated. You've got gamification in the bottom right-hand corner there. Every single one of these programs and the platform that Televisa is putting together, it allows the program to become a game. And all the network programs coming out in the fall season in the United States are being gamified because the younger demographic especially want to engage with the characters, with the storylines, but also compete. And gamification allows them to sort of stay engaged and rise to the next level. And then you've got transmedia storytelling. If you are a brand and you've got an association through advertising with a high-quality, emotional piece of content, and that piece of content can now be brought to life across multiple channels specific to the way your customers want to relate. For example, teenagers on Instagram, they just want to share photos. Or some people prefer YouTube and they want to see bonus content on YouTube. Or some people want a mobile application which allows them to buy things that they see in the program and share those purchases with their friends in real time. Why would you not want to do that? Because the power of it is the story never ends. It's not defined by when the program is on. It's defined by your customer, how they consume that content, and then how they amplify it and share it with their friends. So this transmedia storytelling is so powerful because it means you are always on as a brand, as an advertiser. You are always connected to your customer. And I think one of the most powerful ways to view this is when we used to just have broadcast television. You know, I was one of those copywriters wearing the too tight t-shirt with my feet up on the desk saying to people, you can't imagine what I'm thinking, I've got the idea. I was that guy. Now, someone wakes up in the morning, first thing they do is check their phone. Who here checks Facebook first thing in the morning when they wake up? Who here does it naked? There's a lot of naked people checking Facebook first thing in the morning. You should all meet each other. No, I mean, I wake up in the morning and I check my phone and I turn it on and I don't know why. I go to Facebook and I check what's going on because the news of the world is equally important as the news of my friends. I want to know what's going on, and that relatedness has never been available before. But the point is this: you wake up, you've got your mobile phone, you check your phone, you check it at the table, you check what emails come in, from work. You maybe go to your computer and you check what's going on, any urgent emails at work. You then got your mobile phone in the car. You go to work, you've got your desktop or you've got your tablet. You do that through the day. You get in your car, you've got your mobile phone. You come home again, you check your PC or you watch your television and you've got your laptop on. You never need to lose touch with the customer. You as an advertiser, if you take advantage of these channels and this seamless platform, can stay in contact at all times. So the dollars, the hard dollars you spend from your media buy can actually get exponential more value because it can continue to live across all these different channels. Then you've got commerce, the ability to actually, buy products within the programs that was never possible before. And if you look at shows like Sons of Anarchy in the United States, there's apps that come with them now, and in every episode, you just click on anything within the screen, a necklace, a shirt, a motorcycle, whatever it might be, and you can buy it right then and there within the app. And then you've got community. So every one of these programs now, especially the high-quality ones, have a community built around them. And think about the tentpole events, like the Olympics. I mean, Ryan Seacrest was up there telling us which athlete got the most tweets. Gold medal, most tweets. Think about that. Absolutely astounding. It's becoming the new measure of popularity, of engagement, of customer attention. And it's the same with the Grammys, and it's the same with the Emmys. All of these tentpole events, which are the mainstay of advertising and often the most expensive ad buys, are now becoming massive social media experiences, and that's the community aspect. So this whole ecosystem is all these different parts coming together. And I hope you're starting to see what an incredible and profound opportunity they are for you as storytellers who want to make an emotional connection with your customers to inspire loyalty, goodwill, and sales. Absolutely timeless. That said, there are two different forces driving this shift in the marketplace. The first are those trends that I just took you through. The second is a new bunch of companies born out of the web, these digital companies that recognize this opportunity as well and that are propelling the marketplace to be more and more social. So we've got Facebook and what they want to do with online video. We've got Google TV and what they're doing with YouTube. Nintendo, which 2 or 3 weeks ago just launched the Wii U, the Universal Wii. We've got Apple TV, and then I want to talk a little bit about the web as well. So think about this. Facebook now allows you to watch programs within Hulu, to comment on those programs that will post to your Facebook page, and then when your friend watches the same program at some other time, you will see their comments in real time as you watch the program. So that whole social aspect to watching content is now independent of what you're watching and when you're watching it. The consumer, the viewer, can watch it at any time. So that social aspect that brings it to life in new ways travels with the content. Incredibly powerful. And so, this social TV experience is being recreated independent of time and physical location. And think about this as an advertiser. You can now, thanks to all this information and data that everyone keeps volunteering each day, you can target an audience based on what they watch, what the content's about, what their social graph tells you, what their interest graph tells you, what their friends tell you, and you get more and more specific, which means you get more and more value for your advertising buy, and also you annoy your viewers or customers less because it's more and more relevant based on what they've already told you they care about. So very, very powerful for advertisers. And if you've got this seamless system with high quality content that allows you to bring a story to life in a transmedia way, it could be enormous for your brand. Another player, Google. Google TV has had various sort of expressions in the marketplace which have or have not been successful, depending on what people thought of the hardware. But Google just bought Motorola, which gave them two things. They've got cell phones running Android systems, and they've also got a leading set-top box manufacturer. They've got DoubleClick, which commands 70% of the pay-per-click advertising. And then in terms of behavioral targeting, like looking at what someone's doing on the web and giving them an ad specific to that right at that moment, they've got both Invite Media and AdMeld, which are the supply side and the demand side. So they're creating this complete ecosystem around social engagement, which is going to drive their potential in the social TV space. They've also created, everything you need to replicate a pay TV system over sort of an internet protocol, an IP network. And if you consider that 1/5 of all televisions will be connected to the web by 2016, that gives them a huge opportunity. So that's going to drive this shift towards social television. Plus, they're subsidizing a lot of new companies out there. Machinima, Maker Studios, which is just down the road from me in Los Angeles. Maker Studios, wonderful place. You walk in the door, and there are 50 little mini studios going on, all creating content in real time, and then serving it out on the web through the YouTube platform. This is a very dynamic, competitive marketplace that is moving under our feet. There is absolutely no time to waste and no time to ignore these trends. And just think, Google went so far, it was about 6 months ago, that they launched 100 premium channels. And there was a lot of buzz in Los Angeles, where I live. I've been in LA for 12 years, where everyone who had an idea wanted to get a Google channel. They wanted to be one of these 100 channels. And everyone was putting their pitch decks together, and everyone was going up to San Francisco and pitching. And now they have these 100 premium content channels out there because they want to drive towards new content, high quality content in the marketplace. And what's interesting is there's a shift they want less views, less people actually viewing things, but they want them to view things for longer. They're shifting towards longer engagement, which is a massive shift, which is again driving the shift in the marketplace to high quality, long form content found in new ways that are innately social. And this is what ComScore found in May 2012. If you look at the green line, that's the amount of time that people are spending on YouTube watching, while the blue line is the number of views, which is dropping. And all the sort of spokespeople from YouTube will tell you they want less views and longer periods of engagement. Nintendo, 2 or 3 weeks ago, came out with their Wii U gamepad, which serves as a universal remote. So basically, they're bringing together all the video, to allow you to browse, search, and unify all the video content, and then also have a second screen within there. So you can purchase, you can have social conversations with friends. So we've already got our Facebook, we've got Google, we've got Nintendo, and then of course Apple. There's been so much pent-up demand for Apple TV. Who's an Apple fan here? Who's an Apple fan? I mean, look at the cult of personality around Steve Jobs when he passed away. Look at what his vision for the brand inspired. Look at what his leadership inspired. That's what every one of us as marketers could aspire to for our brands. And what they're doing is they're building Apple TV in front of us through software. You can now pay for a Netflix purchase inside iTunes. So they're building out the software. They've integrated Twitter into their new operating system. And they've got iAds, which is a proprietary advertising platform across all their different channels. And here's what Steve Jobs said before he passed in his biography. I'd like to create an integrated television set that is completely easy to use. It would be seamlessly synced with all of your devices and with the iCloud. I have the simplest user interface you could imagine it would have. I finally cracked it. And then he sadly passed. So this competition is heating up. So it's not just a question of those trends that I talked to you about, which are driving social television. It's these new players that are driving it as well, from the web, from the digital space, and they're even starting to compete within themselves. So for example, Google and Apple, they didn't renew their 5-year licensing agreement to establish YouTube video service on the iPhones and the iPad. So what has Google done? They're like, thank you very much. We're going to relaunch the YouTube application and allow for new ways that people can create content and monetize that content on YouTube, and they can do it on the Android system. So these new players are starting to compete with each other in this social television space. That's how sophisticated this shift is. And Tim Cook, the new CEO, just said, this is an area, talking about Apple TV, of intense focus for us. We're going to keep pulling this string and see where it takes us. Again, this is very real. There is no time to wait. This movement, this shift to transmedia storytelling that creates an emotional connection that can amplify the reach of your brand is already happening. And then finally, I want to talk about the closed web. One of the great challenges that all of these new players face is that they're starting to close the web up, the open commons of the web. And what I mean by that is, we've all seen China try to censor the web. During the Olympics, the Beijing Olympics, they tried to put some censorship on the web because there were so many human rights protests and so on. And Google said, we're going to pull out of China and so on. Everybody's protecting the open web. We just saw with the anti-Muslim video, that message of hate in the last couple of weeks, how there was a real tension between celebrating the right to free speech, which gave that gentleman who did that the right to create that video, versus the horrible harm that's done all around the world and the lives that have been lost around US embassies. So incredible tension here. But even these champions of the open web themselves are really getting proprietary around the data. And what I mean by that is, they're starting to erect fences. And think about this, Google search. You think you can find everything on Google. It's all there for everyone. It's not true. None of the data, none of the pages, none of the videos, none of the photos inside Facebook can be tracked and found and sourced by Google. They've put up a fence. It's their data. They are owning the data. Netflix can't be viewed by Google search engines. Everything that goes on through Apple apps cannot be tracked by Google search engines. And Twitter chatter doesn't show up. If you put in something to search for a holiday destination or something, you're not going to see Twitter chatter in there as well. So they're creating these fences where they own the data inside the larger open web. Plus you've got other companies coming along creating content, Netflix, YouTube, and Hulu, and there's smaller players like Skidder and Simple TV and Boxy that are also now starting to reinvent over-the-air television. So the point of sharing these trends and these new players is to give you an overarching look at the landscape in which social television is operating. And the larger point is you have this incredible opportunity to connect with your audience through transmedia storytelling and take advantage of the high-level premium content, the programs that you saw, the product placement that you saw here earlier today, and be a leader in this marketplace and benefit in terms of your bottom line in this marketplace. And in terms of just how far along that marketplace is, you're already seeing those trends happen, but there's already these new players coming along as well who are already competing with each other for this space. And that's why there's so much urgency. And if I had to break down the big shift that's going on here, it's a shift from the old broadcast traditional media mentality where your control, your value control points were your access to talent, your access to financing, your access to distribution, and your access to marketing. That's really what defined your ability to control this space. That was your value proposition. It's changing. What Televisa is talking about is giving you the tools for content creation. It's talking about giving you new platforms to monetize that content. It's talking about giving you new devices to optimize that content consumption, whether they want to watch it on a YouTube video or whether they want to sort of purchase through Twitter. And they're talking about new methods of content discovery, including social media, because so many people will actually discover television content and your advertising through what's going on social networks. So these control points have completely shifted, which have necessitated a large multi-channel seamless media system that allows you to offer all these things through your advertising so you can get that customer engagement and drive your bottom line. So here are the 3 questions for you. That's an overview of the landscape and the opportunity. The question for you, every single one of you, as a brand, as a marketer, as an advertising person in this room, is, are you investing in a multi-dimensional ecosystem like this that will actually capture your customers' attention and celebrate their engagement and bring a story to life in multiple ways? Are you truly making that choice to invest in that? Or are you taking a sort of a risk-averse position? Are you on the back foot saying, we'll wait and see, and you're going to let other brands, your competitors, be more innovative than you? Or you're going to let other people take that risk first when you're already seeing that the marketplace is going on? Basically, are you building a business for the past or for the future? And as someone who's like a scout out there in the marketplace, in the battlefield, looking what's going on, working in the cracks between different companies, different brands, different technologies, I cannot stress with enough urgency that this is already underway. It's already happened. Not because of any of us, but because of your customers, because of your viewers. And that's because all of this new technology, do you remember when technology would go to the company first, and then you'd incorporate that technology, then you'd release it to market? It doesn't happen that way anymore. These startups and these new companies come along and they release it straight to consumers. They're in permanent beta phase, and they iterate as they go along. And so, not only do you as an advertiser or as a brand have to keep up with the technology, you've got to keep up with the way your customers are using it. That's why you're all so stressed. That's why you're all so freaked out. Who here is overwhelmed by social media? I am absolutely overwhelmed by social media. When Google Plus came out, I was like, oh my God, is there another one? I mean, seriously, it's like you're a mother bird constantly having to regurgitate content to feed yet another mouth. But that's the marketplace we're in. And we have a marketplace full of very media savvy and very engaged and very demanding consumers. So a lot of us in this room may have mischaracterized social media or the web in an adversarial way. You know, it's a threat to traditional media. Will social media kill television? Nothing could be further from the truth. You're in partnership with it. And the true power of it is that when you look at, you know, shopping and product placement, you're suddenly getting multiple channels and multiple touch points through which to inspire your customers to amplify your brand. So let's explore that. I mean, screen within screen technology, second screen technology, is giving you the opportunity to interact with programs. You know, customers can interact with programs, they can interact with each other, they can interact with the stars, and they can interact with products in real time. It's absolutely astonishing. There's several shows in the US now where, as that episode is playing, the stars will be tweeting about what it was like acting in that episode for that show. So if it's NYPD Blue or some cop drama, they will be going, oh my God, that's the first time I ever had to kill someone in the first 5 minutes. And one of their fans will say, no, that's not true. In episode 3 in season 11 in 1996 you did it. And they're like, oh my God, you're right. I mean, it's that level of engagement. Or it's a product. I just saw this product on a show and I bought it, sent it out to my friends. What do you think? I like it in a different color. Great, well, I'm going to get it in this color. Where did you get it? It's on this show I'm watching now. It's a whole other area of reach. And it's all happening in real time. So let's look at what's going on in real time with second screens. 41% of iPad users are using it to look up and post and chat about what they're watching. 41% of iPad users are talking about what they're watching to somebody else, and you're not paying them to do it. So if your ad's in there, if your product's in there, if your product is part of their content, they are basically saying, we're going to be an extension of your advertising budget for free. We're talking about you to somebody else. 42% of smartphone and tablet users are visiting social networking sites while they're watching programs. Think about that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, if you could have said, I want all my customers to act like mini media companies while they're watching our show and tell everyone about it and my brand, please. And here we are. Because it gives people social currency. It gives them connection to their peers. It gives them a chance to show what they care about and what's meaningful in their lives. And if you do powerful storytelling that connects emotionally, then you can leverage that to the benefit of your business. And what they do, what consumers are doing, you know, is shaping social television. They watch television in the same room as others, they visit network sites, they like or favorite shows, they email about what's on, they read trending shows, you know, what shows are trending topics on Twitter. I mean, this is just some of the many things that your customers today are doing while they're watching television. And every one of those is an opportunity if you know how to use it, if you have a platform that allows you to capitalize on it. So social media is good for TV. It's fantastic news. It's actually an expansion, an extension of what you're already doing. I mean, product placement and social media are increasing the importance of high quality content and advertising. It's making it more important than ever. The higher quality the content, the greater the emotional connection, the more compelling the storytelling, the more effective it's going to be. You can now buy directly from these programs in real time and share it with their friends. They just want social currency. They just want social capital, as it's called. I mean, who here has ever shared something they bought with their friends on a social network? Yes, you all have. Did you know the largest demographic for social games, you know games like Farmville, you know, and Mafia Wars, those games on the Facebook platform? The #1 demographic for playing those games is women between 34 and 50. You know who you are. Think about that. This is the prime time audience. You've got a young demo of 18 to 24 with disposable income. You've got mums who are taking care of a family or working a job as well. This is your perfect audience, and they are deeply engaged with this technology. So if you think about it, TV programs are using social media to expand their audience, and celebrities are using it to drive their fans, and advertising and social shopping are connecting the two. And to give you a concrete example, I went to a dinner in Los Angeles a while back, and I was lucky. I sat next to Troy Carter, who is Lady Gaga's manager. Lady Gaga, a success story, right? You know, in 3 or 4 years, the most powerful woman on Time's list, top 100 list. And I said to Troy, I said, wow. I said, the brand you built is absolutely incredible. Like, how did you build this brand? Like, tell me, this is incredible. And he said, we didn't build the brand. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, 12 people built the brand, and they don't work for us. And I said, well, who are they? And he said, they're fans. There's 1 in Russia, there's 3 in Brazil, there's 2 in Europe, and they each are so passionate about that brand, they create content and share it with their own communities of 100,000 people because they get that social capital. They get the recognition of doing that. And they don't give them, you know, supply them with secret information. They don't subsidize them. Sometimes they will do some advertising on their sites, but that's it, because they want that autonomy. Every one of you in this room, every single brand needs to establish and find and celebrate and empower your brand ambassadors. And if you reach out to them where they are and you provide content they can share across these channels in the way they want to share it, it will be enormously powerful for your brand. You'll be like, oh my God, we're not spending any more money, but these people are amplifying what we're doing. And so 1 + 1 equals 10 or 20 or 100 instead of 2. And, you know, of all the reasons people are using social media, the #1 reason from the Accenture study this year in April 2012, they want to get information about a show, product, or service. That's the #1 reason they are interacting with social media while watching TV. They're telling you this. They're telling you this right now. There's the opportunity if you want to take it. So when you think about it, how does shopping go social? If social TV is this wonderful platform for your brand, how does it go social? Well, there's 3 ways. Second screens. So a number of televisions and social TV viewers use second screens, like a laptop. I see laptops everywhere here. And I mean, the iPhone phenomenon and the Retina display iPads. I mean, look at the addiction that people have to the latest tools that will empower second screen, you know, interaction. Smart TVs, which have just been launched in the last year, principally in the US, you know, they have all those social platforms and applications built into the televisions. So you can be watching the television program and have Facebook up there and be talking and tweeting and have a screen and buy something you see on the screen. It's built into the television. And then you've got set-top boxes. So the new set-top box developers, they're basically turning them into social TV set-top boxes through applications. So there's those 3 different ways that you go from high-end content that makes an emotional connection through powerful storytelling across all these multiple channels in a seamless platform that leads to purchases. And think about the advertising opportunity here. Global advertising on TV and pay TV is $400 billion. And TV broadcasts and networks, and also, you know, new players like Facebook, Twitter, and Google, and the internet crowd, they're all going after it, you know, via social TV, because that's where the eyeballs are. And ultimately, you're seeing these 2 things coming together: network television becoming social, and social networks becoming social TV channels. So you have an opportunity with premium content here, with, you know, with partners like Televisa and product placement and so on, to capitalize on this trend, because the platform that you need is already in place. And then the 4th area, social TV and social media. Let's look at what some shows are doing in the United States, the most popular shows. It's kind of a little crazy, right? You've got shows tweeting about themselves in real time as you watch them. I think we've all gone a little mad, but this is what's happening. So, for example, Mad Men. It's all about us, right? Do you remember when it was cool to be in advertising? I do. In the 80s and 90s, and we kind of got uncool, and I think we're coming cool again. But Mad Men has made advertising cool to some extent. And in this particular episode, there was talk about pitching a piece of business. It involved a Jaguar car. And so Jaguar USA would be tweeting about the episode, saying they loved the pitch, but they didn't like the way it came about, because it was 60s in terms of its values. It was a bit sort of misogynist, because that's what the show, that's the period it's in. But they're talking about the show in real time through Twitter, because that's what their audience are doing, and they want to have a presence in that space. Project Runway. Now, they're doing many different things, but here are two examples. And think about your product and brand, and think about the shows, the Televisa shows that are best suited to that. What are these different channels that you could use? So, for example, Project Runway, all about fashion, all about beauty, for ladies. They're actually creating a series of images and short videos on the Pinterest platform. And what's Pinterest? The guy who founded Pinterest was a young guy, another one of these annoying sort of less than 30 billionaires, a young guy who just noticed, having worked in retail, that when women put outfits together, they like to tear things out of magazines and put them side by side. We guys weren't just watching, he was just watching better than we were. And so we put this pinboard platform together called Pinterest, which has exploded. And now there's Pinterest, and also new ones like the Fancy allow you to buy from those images. So I could be advertising on Project Runway. There could be one of my projects there, someone can just click on that image or video and it'll take them straight to a purchase page. At the same time, they're using Vidi. Vidi is 15 seconds of video, a platform just for 15 seconds of video. I don't know whether it's an extension of how ADD we're all getting. It's like, oh my God, I've got no time for a 30-second video. What are you talking about? I need 15 seconds. Pretty soon it's going to be, the screens are going to be this big and the videos will be 2 seconds long. But that's what Project Runway is doing, because fashion lends itself to Instagram with single images. They've got a big presence on there. Vidi with video and Pinterest. So they're serving up and launching their new fall season show through these platforms because they suit the content, and that's where their audience is. Discovery Channel, look at those numbers. 57 million likes, 75 active fan pages, 3.5 million followers. And there they are, thanking the 10 million fans who helped us make history. How powerful is that? Some of the Nike ads that you've seen in the last couple of years around the World Cup and so on, 30, 40 million views. Absolutely astonishing. And if you wanted to take a whole comprehensive look at what, network television is doing, here's the CW network, which just launched its fall season up in Los Angeles. You know what they're doing with these different television shows, Beauty and the Beast, The Next? They're taking all the characters that the ladies like and they're creating a gallery of those stars with their shirts off. Ladies, is that of any interest at all? Maybe, perhaps. Imagine putting all the stars on all the shows you like, all with their shirt off. That might garner a little bit of attention. But that's what they're doing, because that's a way of listening to your audience, responding to what they want, and doing it specific to the channel. Or, America's Next Top Model. There is real-time online voting. So as the various models go through the elimination process, like American Idol or Who's Got Talent or any one of these shows, people can vote and follow them in real time online voting. Or you've got apps. A big new show that's being promoted in the United States is Arrow. And they've got their whole fall season, including 90210, all on apps, where you can interact with the stars, where you can purchase things that you see within the show, where you can look at the schedule, where you can get reminders about television programs. Why are they doing that? So they never lose contact with their customer. As I said, when you get out of bed naked in the morning and check Facebook, you never want to lose contact with that customer. And so they're creating these apps so that you get a reminder about the show that night, or you get a tweet from whatever star on that program which you love so much that you want to share with your friend who also loves that show. Even TV Guide has just come out. TV Guide, the original keystone of traditional media, has come out with a second screen application in August this year. And here's what Gail, the VP of Discovery Communications, said. Social media has made television a social experience again. We're very interested in facilitating conversation, tapping into the power of social conversations across different programs to give viewers the power to connect with each other and build our relationships with our fans. Ask yourself, do you want that? As an advertiser, as a brand, as a marketer, do you want that for your product, for your service, for your brand, for your category? Absolutely. So you need a seamless, large, emotional platform that allows you to do that and leverage the power, the emotional power of high-quality content to achieve it. And brands are getting more and more sophisticated in their engagement. Pepsi just partnered with Pandora, the music platform, and during the Grammys, you could actually get exclusive content thanks to Pepsi, you know, a new artist video series and also specific Grammy, you know, radio stations. And during Chevy, during the Super Bowl, you could actually answer trivia questions during the Super Bowl, and that would enter you into the draw for certain prizes. So all the stuff we know, voting, polling, contests, prizes, all the sort of incentive stuff that we know, that just now can be applied across all these different channels. That's the opportunity. And let's look at some of these tentpole events, because as marketers who have dedicated advertising dollars to spend, these are really important opportunities. During the Super Bowl, there were 12,200,000 tweets. Grammys, 13 million. During the Super Bowl, it surpassed its record. It was 12,000 tweets per second. I'm thinking, who's watching the game? Everyone's like, yeah, I'm checking. That was really good. Oh, could you replay that? Because I just missed the touchdown. But the touchdown was great. We're sort of, I don't think any of us, you know, as a dad, whenever you go on holidays, you're always videoing the holiday so you can watch it at home, and you're never actually there. And then you go home and watch it and go, oh, that was a great holiday. That's what we're doing with our lives. We're so busy sharing our lives, we've got no time to live it. But that's the reality, and that's the opportunity for all of us with these multi-screen channels. So social media is now becoming this incredibly powerful data tracking tool by which to tap into that focus group, that real-time focus group that is 1 billion strong, that is sharing information in real time. You've got, you know, Pinterest here, through GetGlue, they rank the top social shows each week. So True Blood in the United States, and you see Mad Men there. So now that social data is being used to rank how well a show is connecting with its customer. While other, you know, Trender and Mashable are putting together the social TV chart, which networks are doing the best and which programs within that network and what their previous rank was the week before. So it's not a question of should we do this, it's how well are you doing it? And social media is providing powerful, powerful data to give you insights into what your audience wants and how to capture that attention and how to relate to them better. It can also track sentiment and demographics. Think about this for a second. This data tells you, that's that new Charlie Sheen show, Anger Management. Isn't it amazing that the whole train wreck, in his own words, train wreck that Charlie Sheen went through, and now he's come out the other side and it's made him more popular than ever? We should all do something really embarrassing in public, I'm thinking. But the show is enormously successful, and yet the social data actually tracks the sentiment, whether it's positive or negative, from the tweets and posts during that show. So we've got 60% male, 40% female, 36% positive, 60% neutral and negative. Would you like to know the sentiment towards a given show that you're advertising in real time? And it can actually break it down minute by minute. There's the half hour or hour of your show, and you see the spikes in social engagement in real time. The data can become overwhelming, but it's everything we always wanted. You can look at the content, you can look at the moments in the content, you can get true data as to the value you're getting through that advertising, plus you get that extra exposure. And then you've got those word clouds at the bottom, which tell you all the different words that are being associated with your show during the course of the program. Very, very powerful insight tools. And so now advertisers are getting competitive. You know, you've got you've got Bluefin, which is another data company, telling you which are the most successful social advertisers, brands out there. So we've got Victoria's Secret's Pink there on that given week. We've got EA Sports, Starbucks, GoDaddy. So now you're being ranked as to how social you are. And all of that is seeping into the national psyche. All of that is informing what your media-savvy customer expects from you. I mean, do I like this brand? Do they get me? Are they where I want to relate to them? Are they really cool because they get social? Are they innovative because they took a risk and did this thing over here that became a viral sensation? Or are they just a sleepy old brand that's not willing to take a risk, in which case you've lost my attention? That's the opportunity and that's the risk. And it's even getting channel specific. So now Twitter has its top TV shows in any given week that you can check out. So you can automate all this process where you can actually look at your performance as an advertiser in a high quality piece of content in a seamless multi-channel social media platform and track how you're doing in real time and really know. So, Kevin Riley at Fox, he put it very well. He said, the future isn't either traditional or digital. It's a feedback loop between the two. Television fans want to get involved and they want to be counted. It's how creative we are engaging those fans and keeping them connected even as they move away from the traditional network. So you're always on. You never lose contact with your consumer. They always have an opportunity to buy. That will determine how potent and profitable we will be in the future. So that's the president of entertainment at Fox. That's their commitment to innovation and to a seamless platform like we're talking about here today. And so, what are your new roles? You are sitting in this room going, I'm a brand guy, I'm an advertising guy, I'm a marketing lead, in whatever company you're with. We all have new roles. If you're a producer of content, you need to change and become a multi-screen storyteller. A multi-screen storyteller. And you need to be a technology innovator. The wonderful thing that we're talking about here today with Televisa is they put all this together. Why? So you can innovate more quickly. Because if you had to build all this yourself on your own, it would be cost and time prohibitive. That's the power of bringing high-quality content and a seamless platform that's ready to go and making that available in one place. If you're an advertiser like me, you need to become a social brand. You must become a social brand. It's part of the reason I launched my brand, why I have social media outreach myself, because you can reach people and drive your business and have the social impact you want through these tools. And if you don't, it's a missed opportunity. And you've got to become a content producer. You've got to become a content producer. So when we're looking at these videos today where you see product placement, this is not an if or a when. McDonald's in the US have already announced that they're creating their own content. And Carl's Jr. followed with their announcements shortly afterwards. Every one of you brands in this room, much like the 1950s when you had a television program brought to you by, I don't know, Pepsi Bismol. I don't know what those brands were. I'm not even American. But one of those big brands that brought you, that sponsored those shows, we're going back to those days where you've got to become a content producer. So you marry this powerful emotional storytelling with product placement and your content, and that's when you get the connection to your audience. And then viewers have to become co-creative consumers. They've got to tell you what they want, they've got to share, they've got to give you feedback, and also they've got to become real-time collaborators. So this is the new partnership going on in this ecosystem. All of us have a new role to play. And who's making money from this? Where's the return on investment? Who is making money? The question we all got to get asked inside our offices, specific to our jobs, no matter what else we do. Well, analytics companies are doing well because they're capturing all this data and making it available to media companies, to holding companies, to advertising agencies, and so on. Not a surprise there. App developers, some of them are doing very well because they're creating apps that allow you to consume this content in new ways. And advertisers, they are driving brand loyalty, engagement, and sales through branded content and product placement. And that's you. You're one of the three parties that can benefit right now. So if I had to sum up the net of these 6 trends, these 5 new players, all these different examples of how you can actually use product placement and social shopping to drive your bottom line, but also customer and viewer engagement. Content remains king. High quality content wins the day every time. Every time. Because that's what your customer wants. But also, interactive multi-screen is queen. That's what the marketplace demands from you. And so TV will grow, supported by social networks built around shows, and it's going to be built around brands, and it's going to be built around stars. So that's the future you can expect from content. So it's not a question of what will television look like. It's a question of, will you build a network around high-quality content that will respond to what your audience wants? And that's how you'll keep them. There's the issue, who will dominate? Will you in this room be the innovators? Will you rise to this challenge? Will you be one of those companies like in the mid-90s when the web became big and said, wow, this is going to be big, I'm going to innovate and iterate and change? Or are you going to be one of those companies that stand back and say, I'll wait till everybody else does it, and then it's too late? The transition that's going on right now through social media and social television is just as profound as the web in the mid and early 90s. So you cannot afford to wait. And advertisers like yourselves are going to become channels. You're going to become branded content creators that are going to command an army, an audience of viewers that are going to migrate with you from Twitter and Instagram to Facebook, to the television screen, to their tablet. And it's going to be this free-flowing engagement, interaction with your audience. So it's about being social, it's about being distributed, and it's about being always on, relentlessly, tirelessly, exhaustingly, always on. And so there's a lot of information here. As I said, if you email slides@wefirstbranding.com, slides@wefirstbranding.com, these slides will all be sent to you. And I just want to thank Televisa, not just for including me today in today's event, but for taking the risk of building out a seamless platform that provides the innovation that allows you to succeed. Because the marketplace is moving too quickly, and the half-life of technology is shrinking so rapidly that if you don't innovate fast enough, you will get left behind, and you will wonder where your customers went. Thank you so much.